So I just watched Avatar: The Last Airbender for the first time, and it did not disappoint. The characters were great, Toph was definitely my favourite. The environments and settings for each bending society was incredible, with each one being based on real life culture. Character arcs were told throughout the whole show and reached a fitting end and sometimes a sad end, which kind of made you feel bad in the end. I really did try to find anything bad with this show, and to my thankful soul, I can confidently say Avatar is truly the best show I've ever seen. Or at least it's up there. Maybe I'll make videos on it one day, but not this day. Because today we're going to be talking about a different conundrum. That being the weird direction DreamWorks has been taking lately. Not only in their movies, but more so their recent TV shows that have either flopped completely, redeemed themselves, or seemed to be doomed to repeat their past mistakes. Which, I'm a bit late and we'll get into it. Today, I'm talking about Dragons, the Nine Realms, Kung Fu Panda the Dragon Knight, and the soon to come out Megamind movie and show, and see the major problem that plagues all three of these shows that have been releasing these last few years. But before I get into that, remember to like, comment and subscribe. We've just recently passed 100 subs, and now I look upon a brighter future. So if you could get this channel to 200 subs, it would be deeply appreciated. And make sure to check out the gaming channel. It's been a while since I've done this, but we have recently come back and been pumping out a lot of content on that channel. So if you could head over there, chuck a like, and maybe consider subscribing, just hit that big red button. And with that out of the way, let's get into it. So let's start off strong with the best, in my opinion, of all of these. That being Kung Fu Panda the Dragon Knight. Now saying that, it wasn't good. At least not in the beginning. In fact, if it wasn't for the last few episodes, I would count this as another flop to add to the pile. But just because it was able to redeem itself doesn't mean there weren't problems that related to the other ones. For those who watched the show, you probably noticed the lazy animation, landscapes and characters. The villains, two weasels set out to get revenge on the Queen of England, were the most annoying people to watch, with the girl on Veruca having such a terrible personality on the screen. And I don't mean that in a villain way in which you're supposed to hate them. I mean the way you physically recoiled at their performance. Same for the other one. I know these guys tried to do their best, but this was just not that good. Jack Black and James Hong, the original voices for Po and Mr. Ping from the movies, returned for this project, and they were the only good characters on the screen, no surprise there. Luthera, Poe's new sidekick for this show, was a plank of wood. Like those perfect Mary Sues you see on the screen in the new modern movies that Hollywood has been pumping out. And as the show progressed and more characters were added on, I just thought to myself, is this really the best they could do for these characters? Like really, what was the thought process behind some of these characters and their personalities? Then more seasons started coming out. It got better. Characters started getting more fleshed out, more life into them than just the boring farts in the wind they usually were. Luthera. Klaus and Veruca became proper villains. or at least more sympathetic characters, and once we reached season 3, I was finally interested in where the story was going. The conflict of this series surrounded itself around 4 weapons. 4 weapons that wielded certain elements. Fire, air, lightning, earth. I'm really realizing my Avatar comparison was really good for this video. The whole shebang that Klaus and Veruca were bringing together. Along their journey, Veruca would abandon her brother in pursuit of vengeance and collects the rest of the weapons to unleash an army of evil. We got to the climax between Poe, Luthera, Mr. Ping, the monkey, Rukmini, and Veruca, and it was intense. It was dramatic. Veruca was finally a threatening villain who used the emotions of our main characters against them. Then she gets killed by a twist villain. A twist villain, mind you, we did not see coming. But this time, it was done in the good way. And that was when the show got me. It finally showed me the kind of show it could have been, and ended in a satisfying way that left people who watched it happy. And I have seen a few reviews of it, and it's mostly the same. They all say the last few episodes were what finally hooked them in the end and turned them around on the show. There was also an underlying darker aspect of the final season, especially with the last few episodes. Characters getting killed off and on screen, as well as the show covering PTSD in a non-insulting way, which made Klaus into a compelling character you rooted for. I'm not saying the show needs to have more violent and depressing aspects to make it better, but it did create stakes for the show that previously didn't exist. So in all honesty, The Dragon Knight is an example of the talent that still remains. That the people working at DreamWorks still have the capability to make a good story and create villains that are threatening, layered, and above all, more than just a big, scary bad guy that the good guys must defeat. Again, a lot of plans in the future to cover Kung Fu Panda, yada yada yada, and how it went from the worst show to one of the best. You get my point. The same, though, cannot be said about Dragons: The Nine Realms. This show, set 1300 years for some reason after the original How to Train Your Dragon, follows Hiccup's descendant and his team rediscovering the hidden world from the 3rd movie. Now, already I was hopeful for this show, as I was sure it was going to have more hidden world than the movie called Hidden World. Should you know about the show, though, you then know all the lovely things that have been said about it. Like its wonderful characters, its 4th dimensional level plot, and above all, the great continuity it has never had. At least The Dragon Knight had a plot that advanced at a logical pace, introducing plots that furthered the story. Dragons: The Nine Realms has none of this, and by its end, broke the world building of the franchise in its last episode. Or last 2, but the last 2 episodes. How do you do that? There's nothing I can say though in this video that people haven't already said. It's funny in an ironic way. June is a Tom is an idiot. How does the world serpent work? That's not even getting to the fact of how it ruined Hiccup and the rest of the OG characters through the events of the show. Even only watching 3 episodes of the show back then, I've watched a few more episodes now. So even after watching like 2 seasons of this show, I can see how it fails already. And I'm not even that far in. I still have like 6 seasons to watch. Oh. Again, far more talented people have gone into this show, and I might take a gander at it, if only to make a series where I create a whole different show that would have swung more into the mythology of the show. You know, the 9 realms. In the show, it has even more than 9 realms, so the title is wrong. What happened? Oh yeah, its directors were also off the ball. This show clearly spells the bad direction DreamWorks Animation, which, unlike The Dragon Knight, did not have a turnaround that made it good. It was mediocre, if not insulting to the original movies, and went all the way to terrible by the end. That is why I'm scared for Megamind. The movie, the original one, is beloved by many, including myself, who've come to see it as an underrated classic. Shafe Rillis even made a whole video detailing this. The internet blew up with how shit the animation for this looked, and seeing the 9 Realms, the latest show to finish of DreamWorks TV at the moment, I think, again, a story for another time. I don't think anything I say is going to change the outcome, but to all you who want to give this thing a chance, don't. It just shows the people at DreamWorks that people, no matter how small, want to watch this, if not only to piss them off. And if no one watches it, then we can just sit back and watch as however bit of money put into this is flushed into a vacuum of nothing. We don't acknowledge it, we don't think about it. That includes my thoughts on DreamWorks and its animation. I plan to cover these shows in more detail in some time in the summer, but I just wanted to talk about this and bring to attention the fact that shows like this have been coming out for a while, so this ain't no new thing. There are probably other shows I haven't named that are similarly and made around the same time, but this hopefully lets people know to not trust this new movie and Megamind series, as well as other series possibly set to ruin great franchises. Or what am I talking about that's already happened? If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing, hitting that like button, and sharing this around. Help us reach our goal much quicker, and with that, may the glory of Merlin be with you always.